Oh, there he goes.
What you have just seen consists entirely of real footage, captured by residents from all around the world. The videos depict unclear images of creatures never recognized by science. They are massive, powerful, and more dangerous than any known animal to humankind. Since the dawn of Earth's history, humans have told stories of giant beings half human, half beast hiding in the wild. In the world's highest mountains, places rarely reached by man, unexplained traces sometimes appear. There is a vast amount of physical evidence supporting the existence of these giant creatures. Some even theorize that these beings may hold the key to the mystery of human existence. April 9th, 2019, the Himalayas. A military expedition from the Indian Army, while traversing a remote pass near the Nepal-China border, made a startling discovery. Giant footprints in the snow unlike any known animal on Earth. The prints measured approximately 32 inches long and 15 inches wide, and clearly, they could not belong to a human being in any conceivable way, shape, or form. Upon discovering the strange tracks, the expedition team did what any of us today would do. They posted it on social media. They took photos and uploaded them to the official Twitter account of the Indian Army, accompanied by a tweet that read, "We have found the Yeti." The scientific community and cryptozoologists erupted. Stories of the Yeti, a mythical creature from the high mountains of Asia and Siberia, have existed for thousands of years. Locals call it Yeti. They believe the creatures guard sacred peaks and that any human intrusion into these areas would be met with instant death. The Yeti is often described as a massive creature, standing between 6.5 to 10 feet tall, with a muscular build adapted to the harsh Himalayan environment. Its entire body is covered in thick fur, ranging from grayish-white to light brown, allowing it to blend seamlessly into the snow-covered surroundings. Many eyewitnesses say that during blizzards, the Yeti nearly disappears into the white backdrop of the mountains, leaving behind only massive footprints pressed deep into the snow. The Yeti's head is large and rounded, with a low forehead, prominent cheekbones, and a face that resembles both human and primate features. Its eyes are small, deep-set, and dark in color, reflecting light at night, a detail that has led many to believe the Yeti possesses excellent night vision. Across the Himalayas, there are numerous versions and descriptions of the Yeti. However, the common theme is that it is neither fully human nor entirely beast. This creature first came to the attention of humankind in 1899. At that time, Colonel Lawrence Waddell, during a Himalayan expedition, claimed to have seen a series of massive footprints deeply embedded in snow at over 17,000 feet. With his experience as an explorer, he recognized that these were not ordinary tracks from any person or animal he had encountered. The local guide accompanying him pointed to the prints and said they belonged to the abominable snowman. But it wasn't until 1951 that the image which shook the world first appeared. During an expedition led by legendary mountaineer Eric Shipton, he captured a photograph of a strange footprint clearly imprinted in thick snow. Beside it was an ice axe placed for scale, revealing its enormous size. Though no one had verified evidence, Shipton's photo was enough to grab the world's attention. In a short time, the image spread across Western newspapers and magazines, turning the Yeti from a local myth into a global cultural icon. From there, expeditions, research, and decades-long debates began. The idea of a giant bipedal creature, undocumented by science, living in the mountains of Asia and Siberia, sparked global curiosity among researchers. It launched a grand journey in which expeditions sought to uncover the truth behind one of the planet's greatest mysteries. But the story didn't end there. While many still questioned the Yeti's existence, one event would change everything. In 1959, a horrifying tragedy linked to the Yeti occurred, the Dyatlov Pass incident, where 9 Soviet hikers mysteriously died in the Ural Mountains. Their bodies were found in bizarre conditions, some with broken bones and fractured skulls, one missing a tongue and eyes, their tent torn open from the inside, barefoot tracks running into the snow. One of the group's final photographs captured a dark, humanoid figure standing eerily on the snow. Many believe it was the Yeti. Furthermore, the victims had written an internal note that read, "Now we know that the snowman is real. They live in the Otorten Mountains." The Sherpa people, who have lived in the mountains for generations, tell stories of towering, white-haired figures passing through thick, snow-covered paths. Some Native American tribes in North America also speak of a half-human, half-beast creature over 6.6 feet tall that appears deep in the forest on silent, dark nights. These discoveries, while often dismissed as myth, come with tangible physical evidence. Footprints, hair, feces, and strange artifacts collected by scientists, none of which can be fully explained. While modern science remains skeptical, reports keep emerging from across North America to the Himalayas, forcing researchers to confront an unbelievable possibility: that giant snowmen might still exist somewhere out there. One summer in 1966, 2 children, while camping, witnessed something truly bizarre. They saw a massive, fur-covered figure moving between the treetops. When the creature stepped out of hiding, it terrified the children. It was tall, with enormous arms and legs, and its entire body was covered in thick brown hair. It stood upright like a human, sniffed the air, then stared at them with deep, dark eyes filled with curiosity. The 2 children screamed and ran back to their parents. When they returned, the creature was gone. All that remained was a single deep footprint in the ground. It was a gigantic footprint, twice the size of an average human's. Clearly, it didn't belong to a human, nor did it resemble the track of any known animal. Only something extraordinarily large and heavy could have left such a deep, wide impression. Nearly 2,000 people have told stories identical to that of the 2 children. All of them claim to have seen a towering, hairy giant, ape-like in appearance, yet walking upright like a human. Eventually, they gave this mysterious creature a name: Bigfoot. Most Bigfoot sightings come from the dense forests of California, Oregon, Washington, and Canada. Some of these stories even date back to the time of indigenous Native American tribes. The creature is said to stand between 6.5 and 10 feet tall, weigh over 440 pounds, covered head to toe in thick brown fur, with deep, glowing eyes and heavy steps that leave massive footprints up to 24 inches long and over 8 inches wide. And thus, the name Bigfoot was born. According to legend, indigenous people see Bigfoot as a guardian of the forest, a creature that lives in harmony with nature and only becomes hostile when its habitat is threatened by humans. But the story truly exploded in 1958, when a bulldozer operator named Jerry Crew discovered footprints over 16 inches long in the forests of Northern California. The print appeared to be the right foot of some unknown creature, and notably, it had 6 toes instead of 5. The photo he took spread across the United States, and from that moment, the name Bigfoot officially became a pop culture icon. Strangely, not long after, several other countries, including Thailand, India, the Philippines, and Indonesia, reported their own local versions of Bigfoot. Large, hairy beings hiding deep in the jungle. Numerous massive Bigfoot footprints have been discovered in forests. These prints resemble human footprints, but they are significantly larger and much deeper. Scientists estimate that any creature capable of leaving such tracks would likely stand nearly 8 feet tall and weigh up to 800 pounds. Some people have ventured into the woods in search of the real Bigfoot. Many so-called Bigfoot hunters have returned with photos they claim are evidence of the giant creature. However, experts who have examined these photos say they cannot confirm whether the creature shown is real or fabricated. That was until this footage emerged. On October 20th, 1967, 2 men were riding horseback through Bluff Creek, California. Around 1 p.m. that afternoon, their horses suddenly spooked, reacting to a strange smell in the air. Moments later, the men spotted a hairy, bipedal creature about 100 feet away. They quickly dismounted, and one of them pulled out a Cine Kodak movie camera, capturing the creature on 16mm film. The footage shows a fur-covered being walking slowly through the forest, calmly turning its head in a motion strikingly human. The 59-second video quickly became legendary, but also sparked decades of heated debate. Some believe it to be one of the greatest hoaxes in history, while others, including respected researchers, consider it the most compelling evidence of Bigfoot's existence ever recorded. Is this genuine proof or an elaborate setup? Skeptics argue that the 2 men who filmed it made too much money from the footage, suggesting the entire scene was carefully staged as a hoax. In fact, the 2 men took the film on tour across the United States, charging admission and even publishing a book about Bigfoot. Nevertheless, the video continues to have strong support. Some experts believe the muscle structure and limb proportions in the footage are far too accurate to be a hoax, especially given the technology available in 1967. But that is just one of many encounters with Bigfoot. Other stories are just as bizarre and compelling. In fact, in 1994, someone recorded a blurry video showing 2 massive creatures tending to their young deep in the forest. According to witnesses, Bigfoot is not dangerous. The creature is extremely shy, always avoiding humans. That's why it lives deep in remote forests, far from human reach. Over the past few decades, thousands of Bigfoot sightings have been reported across the United States and Canada. However, no one has been able to confirm the creature's existence due to the lack of conclusive anatomical evidence. In the next part of this documentary, we will examine the most plausible explanations for both Bigfoot and the Yeti, if they do, in fact, exist. Some footprints, hair samples, and photos have been presented as evidence of these creatures' existence, but so far, nothing has been definitive. Scientists approaching the mystery from a zoological perspective point to fossil evidence suggesting that a similar species existed between 1 and 9 million years ago. That creature was called Gigantopithecus, a giant ape that originated in Southeast Asia. On the evolutionary tree, it is closely related to orangutans, Asian apes, gorillas, and chimpanzees from Africa. The explanation that many researchers consider most plausible lies not in mythology, but in evolutionary history. They believe Bigfoot and the Yeti could be direct descendants of Gigantopithecus, a colossal primate that once roamed parts of Asia hundreds of thousands of years ago. Gigantopithecus is the largest primate ever known to have lived on Earth. Many refer to it as the real-life King Kong. Fossils were first discovered in the 1930s at a traditional medicine shop in China, when an anthropologist identified a massive canine tooth being sold as a dragon bone. Since then, this creature has become a fascinating mystery to the scientific community. Research suggests that Gigantopithecus could grow up to 10 feet tall and weigh between 880 and 1,100 pounds. With enormous jaws and powerful mandibles capable of crushing bamboo, roots, and hard fruits. Its body was covered in thick, dark brown fur, an adaptation to the cold, humid forest environment. Due to its massive size, Gigantopithecus is believed to have moved slowly, living mainly under dense forest canopies and rarely climbing trees. Though distantly related to modern humans and orangutans, bone structure indicates it may have been capable of walking upright on two legs for short periods, a feature that strongly resembles descriptions of Bigfoot and the Yeti. Remaining traces suggest they may have lived in small groups, often near water sources in dense forests, and possibly communicated using sounds or simple signals. As the climate became drier and tropical forests receded, Gigantopithecus gradually disappeared or, according to some theories, retreated deep into mountainous forests where humans rarely go. If that is true, then perhaps the descendants of this giant ape still survive today, somewhere in the snowy Himalayas or the deep woods of North America, where people now call them by other names, Yeti and Bigfoot. While Gigantopithecus is widely considered the most plausible ancestor of Bigfoot and the Yeti, there is another, lesser-known species that may hold another piece of the puzzle. That is Dinopithecus, the so-called terror ape, one of the largest baboon-like apes ever to walk the earth. Dinopithecus stood about 5 to 5.2 feet tall at the shoulder and weighed around 110 pounds. In some cases, adult males were estimated to reach up to 170 pounds. The first Dinopithecus fossils were discovered in South Africa in the late 19th century. Initially, scientists believed it to be a giant baboon, a distant relative of the modern-day baboon. But when its skull, jaw, and limb bones were reconstructed, they revealed a creature nearly 6.5 feet tall, weighing between 200 and 220 pounds, with a massive skull, long canines, and the strength to take down any predator of its time. Their facial features are said to be a mix between a baboon and a human, with deep eye sockets, a low forehead, and a protruding snout resembling ancient descriptions of both the Yeti and Bigfoot. Unlike modern baboons, Dinopithecus did not live entirely on the ground. It was a skilled climber, capable of moving across rocky mountain slopes and dense forests, usually traveling in small groups. Its forward-facing eyes allowed for precise depth perception, a trait commonly seen in predators or highly intelligent species. What intrigued many paleontologists was how the size and skull structure of Dinopithecus bore a strange resemblance to descriptions of Bigfoot and the Yeti. A protruding skull, deep eye sockets, sloped forehead, and large canines. If this species had evolved or survived in isolated populations for hundreds of thousands of years, it's not unreasonable to consider the possibility that it developed into a large intelligent primate. Some researchers even suggest that when the African tectonic plate drifted apart from India and Asia, part of the Dinopithecus population may have migrated north across the Himalayas and into East Asia. If that theory holds true, they may well be the ancient ancestors of the Yeti. Like Gigantopithecus, Dinopithecus vanished from the fossil record about 1 million years ago. But what's strange is this. There's no clear evidence of extinction, no recorded natural disaster or competitive threat strong enough to explain its disappearance. For over a century, stories, footprints, tufts of hair, and even blurry videos of Bigfoot and the Yeti have continued to surface. And yet, to this day, no one has provided definitive proof. Not a body, not a DNA sample, not even a clear photograph. The question remains, if these creatures truly exist, why haven't we found them? One of the most common explanations is habitat. The areas believed to be their territory, the Himalayas, the Siberian taiga, and the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest, are some of the most remote and inhospitable places on Earth. These are cold, fog-covered lands where visibility is limited and where only a small fraction has been thoroughly explored by humans. If a highly intelligent primate chose to hide in such environments, it's not hard to understand why we've never seen it. Another theory: they may be far more intelligent than we think. Some researchers believe Bigfoot and the Yeti could be highly evolved descendants of Gigantopithecus, capable of observation, evasion, recognizing danger, and even covering their tracks. They may live alone, not in groups, move primarily at night, and choose the steepest, most inaccessible terrains to travel. A more biological hypothesis suggests their population may be extremely small, perhaps on the verge of extinction. If only a few dozen individuals remain, scattered deep in the wilderness, the odds of humans encountering them would be nearly zero. Modern efforts, including infrared cameras, heat-sensing traps, and drone surveillance, have yet to yield conclusive results. Some collected hair samples and trace evidence, when subjected to DNA testing, often turn out to belong to known animals like brown bears, lynxes, or wolves. Still, researchers argue that a lack of evidence does not equal non-existence. They point out that it took centuries for scientists to officially recognize gorillas in Africa, even though local tribes had described them for generations. Perhaps Bigfoot and the Yeti are similar cases, but there are also those who reject the idea entirely. Some scientists argue that Bigfoot and the Yeti are nothing more than products of collective psychology. Many people want to believe in their existence for a variety of reasons. Humans have always been driven by curiosity, by the urge to explore the unknown. We are naturally drawn to tales of giant creatures steeped in myth and legend. Whether Bigfoot is a real animal or simply the result of hoaxes and imagination, one thing is clear: it has become the stuff of legend. So, what do you think about these two giant cryptids? Could Bigfoot and the Yeti really exist? Or are they just creatures of folklore and human storytelling? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss any of our upcoming content. Goodbye for now, and we'll see you in the next video.